Hello and welcome back to Operations with Void. I'm your host, Forgotten Void, and today we are going over the new mode of PvE, new PvE mode for next patch. Right now it's available in PTS. Okay, not when this video comes out, but over the weekend it's available on PTS. This focuses on Star Trek. This is a Star Trek collab. So you get 4 ships that you can use for this collab and that are rentable. The first one we have here is the Romulan, based off of a Romulan. I guess is a Romulan bird of prey. It's a Klingon warbird and Romulan bird of prey. I'm sorry, I'm not too big into the Star Trek universe. I'm more of a Star Wars and Stargate fan myself, but I know enough to know that this over here is 4D chess, or 3D chess, 3D, 4D. But this is where the term 4D chess comes from, is because you have this chessboard that is really, really weird. Anyways, so hello, post-recording Forgotten Void here. I just wanted to go over a few of the bugs in the initial testing of the public test server for this op that I didn't quite clearly state during the video. You'll know when you get to them. But first off, rapid threat response. I call it a speed boost. This is actually a main battery reload booster, not a speed boost. I call it a speed boost. I think that's neat. But main battery is closer and more useful. Rapid consumables, a replication. This, the main battery reload time, you don't actually get this. The only thing is the consumable that you get in game, so none of the holes actually, or shields, none of the shields get this boost, so I don't know why it is displayed. Same thing for the improved gun on the destroyer. It says improved main battery, laser, and just damage with your guns. You don't actually get the plus damage to your guns with any of them. So this is also a display bug. Then you have the amok time, which is the phase emitter reload time is reduced, and it is equipped onto a hull that has small caliber guns instead of the sniper hull, which has the phase emitters. I don't know if they mixed up hulls or they mixed up what they did. Or if they even mixed up displays where the sniper hull actually has the guns and the pushing hull has the phase emitters. Yay for bugs. So with that, we will go back to our regularly scheduled video with all of my mistakes that should be covered here. The first one we're going to go over is the destroyer, because they all have interesting equipment. So the shields have different abilities, and the shields actually have secondary systems equipped with them. And so the middle shield here has the most shield HP, and most shield, but the other ones come with secondary systems that actually give your ships buffs. And I am thinking that some of these buffs are not on the correct section, and that there will be a patch. It will be different from what I'm saying now. So please keep in mind this is still a public test server. They're still working out the kinks. Things won't be the same as they are in live. Anyways, so the improved main gun. So main gun battery damage. So basically all it just main damage is plus 50%. And torpedo damage plus 20%. This plus and damage is much better than anything that the shields. Just having more shields, sure, more survivability, but this plus and damage is really nice, and so that's why damage is. We want damage. The spy section gives you less. Lower concealment and more speed, which is nice, but the more damage is what we want. For guns, you have armor piercing, semi-armor piercing, and lasers. So armor piercing, you have each basically for armor piercing and semi-armor piercing, you're going to have the same thing as a Akatsuki. This is based off the Akatsuki model of ship. So that will, it's 3 twin turrets and 3 sets of torpedoes. So for Akatsuki, it's for armor piercing and semi-armor piercing. That's what you get. Let's see. Reload time on semi-armor piercing is a nice 1 second. I'm going to go burr. So if you want to go burr there, we have. For armor piercing, it's 2.8 seconds. But as you can see, the damage is a lot more. Armor piercing does more damage to the ship and less to the shields. Semi-armor piercing is the same, but the difference doesn't feel as much. Phasers, on the other hand, deal more to shields and less to the ship itself. And the reason why I actually think phasers are better, I mean, for me, actually, semi-armor piercing and phaser, both are fine. But phasers, you don't have to aim. You point at the ship and you just shoot. You don't have to aim. Artillery, you actually have to aim, especially if you're further away. Also, phasers do more damage to the shields to take down the shields, which brings us to our next point, the torpedoes. So you have 2 types of the pulse phaser torpedo. So these are Nadian particle pulses. They fire. They're really, really, really fast. And they do decent amount of damage. And so, let's see, 37. So I would actually go for these. Like the photons, they are nice, but they ping. They're guided. So it's sub stuff. So you ping the ship and they'll home in, and so I actually prefer the pulse phasers. And so if you like, this one has a 70-second reload time, maximum of 12.5 kilometers. So you can stealth torp or go in and torp, and you have the option. And they're 410 kilometer torps. So as if you go on the white line, you're usually going to hit. And these are 425 knots. They do a third of the damage, but half of the reload. So, like, are you going to be throwing out torps all the time? Or do you want your torps to kill the thing you shoot at? So, this is why I actually recommend this one, because more damage, even though the reload is slower, you actually have more DPM. And 19 kilometers versus set 12.5. I mean, this is a closer range, but it's still plenty of range that you don't have to worry too much about range. So that's why I would go with this. Whereas, I mean, this one's 21 kilometers. Yeah, it's the closest range. And that brings us into why I say closest range. And for the hose is variation chooses your consumables. So the first thing is, do you have a super consumable, something that you work up to with damage hits, or no? So here you have a normal smoke generator, a normal speed boost, sensor sweep. Let's see, detection of ships assured detection goes from 2 kilometers to 12 kilometers for 15 seconds. Unlimited charges, but pretty long cooldown time. I mean, neat, not really useful. So then we have damage. So you charge up by getting hits. So hits with the main battery shell is 3.5 seconds. With the beam 5, pulse is 9, and pulse either of your torpedoes is 9. The beam is the phaser. So that's your beam, and so if you're going to be running this, SAP is definitely a way to go, because you're going to get a lot of hits. And this is where you get, let's see, shield damage caused by weapons. So if you're in, it's going to get you more shield damage with your weapons. So if you're running sap and you normally have less shield damage, this is going to let you get a lot of shield damage. So that's why another reason why I'd recommend sap with this one. And then you could just, when you're hitting normal thing, you're just doing normal sap damage. But if you're going to run phasers, it's not really but this one, the neat part is you have torpedo reload booster. So you have a torpedo reload booster, normal smoke, and a heal. That's another thing. The hull 2, the one that you have the meh consumables, you actually get a permanent heal throughout the battle of plus 0.6%. So, I mean, that's neat. Or you can have a heal when you need it. So this one's, if you want a torpedo reload booster and you want to use a consumable to do more shield damage, this is a neat thing to do. And then you have the consumable, the one I would be using when using a destroyer. So this one, damage caused by primary weapon, damage and shield damage by primary weapon. So not just one, but both. So you have this. But the progress is filled just by being in the battle. So every 4 seconds you get 1%. Or you hit people with a pulse, the particle pulses. So the part that gets you 25%. So 4 pulses and you've got it. And 4 pulses usually a ship killed, so you can move on. Use this with something else. Photon torpedo is 45%, but we're not using torpedoes because we don't want to use the sub mechanic. And these do, these do more damage anyways. So might as well. They go 410 knots. You're hardly going to miss. Just like phasers, you point and click it, you're not going to miss. So all ships have shield regeneration. It's about the same. This one is 6 charges, 35-second cooldown. Oh yeah, it's over here. Yeah. So a cooldown of 50 seconds with 4,500. Cooldown of 50 seconds with 4,500 and cooldown of 35 seconds. So look, it has a faster cooldown, and you get 5,100 ship HP per in 1 second. And yeah, these are all just 1 second consumables. You get the most shield, and it's the lowest cooldown. So hey, look, there's that. You get exhaust smoke, so you can go full speed. You don't have to worry about sitting in smoke. You can go full speed. And I'm going to tell you now, the operation, it is very, very mobile. You're not going to be sitting. I've actually played an Enterprise. I'll talk about that later, and it's mobile. So you have exhaust smoke. You have fleet thruster booster. So this is a speed boost, but for everybody. And who doesn't like making everybody happy? So instead of being selfish, you help everybody. You have EMP burst. So deals instantaneous damage to all. So instantaneous of 15,000 damage for all ships within 6 kilometers of you. So if you're smoking up, running into the enemy, and then you use the EMP burst to do an instantaneous 15k, and then you can. You have for 60 seconds, you have plus 35% damage to shields or to the ships themselves. Really, really nice. 100-second cooldown. So this will help you do that. And it's all weapons. So that includes your particle pulses. So plus 35% damage to your torpedoes after you the EMP burst the enemy. So yes. Pretty good. And then of course you have the sweep, so that even if you're smoking and you can't see anybody and there's no allies around, you can still see 8 kilometers, which is plenty of room for your torpedoes and your guns and your phasers, and yeah. So, and it's even more range than your EMP burst. So you can actually run the sensor sweep before you decide to use the EMP burst to make sure that while you're smoking, you know where the enemy is. So this honestly, this setup is what I would be using as a destroyer. Okay, with that, we'll move on to the cruiser. Okay, for the cruiser, you have multiple setups. You have on DPM, which I don't know why. You have concealment and speed and concealment with DPM. But that's what you get for DPM. For close quarters combat, your secondaries. This is secondary battery damage plus 20%. Damage control party, which is your shield regeneration, is minus 50% cooldown, and your shield damage caused by your secondaries is plus 20%. If only the secondaries were actually good on this ship. They're meh, because this is a Fiji class. It's meh. So that's why I don't really recommend that. And then you have tactical, where all consumables are reload preparation is minus 20%. And if you're running tactical, you should run the tactical hull. We're going to go to the tactical hull and mid hulls. So the DPM hull, you have standard secondary guns, and you have a reload booster gimmick. So you hit ships with enemy ships with guns, and then you get a main battery reload booster for 60 seconds. It's actually a long time. Main battery and secondary reload booster. Close quarter combat is primary reload time and auxiliary reload time is reduced. So, yeah, it's basically the same thing. Action time of 60 seconds. This one is filled by inflicting damage on shields or secondary hits. And just every 5 seconds, you get 1%. This one is inflict damage on shields. Every 5 seconds, you get 1%. And just hitting ships with any kind of weapon gets you progress. So this one's a lot nicer because you can do more for this reload booster. And then the last one is tactical. So every 1 second you get, every 5 seconds you get 1%. Inflicting damage on enemy damage with shields is also things, and then getting hits with main battery. With the main battery shells is 1.5%. With the beam it's 3.5%. So a little bit less than like the turret wise. So with beams you have 1 gun per turret, whereas the artillery you have 3 guns per turret. But if you factor in dispersion and lead time, the beams actually will lead up faster. And then you get, with a photon torpedo, it's 5%, and with a pulse, we have the Nadion particle pulses, it's 7.5%. So they can get up pretty quickly. This is actually why I like using the phasers for the guns for this one. Also, because the consumable preparation time becomes minus 7%, it helps you do with your consumables. Now you have one which is shields for everybody, unlimited charges, shields for everybody. I get a shield, you get a shield, everyone gets a shield. Really nice. It means you actually have 2 shield generations, one that affects everybody, one that affects just you. Now, the one that affects everybody, you kind of look on your team, see if anybody needs it, and then you can activate it for other people rather than being selfish with it. Or you could be selfish and consider it a free extra shield that is worse than your main one. Orbital bombardment. This is a fun consumable. It's 22,000 damage to shields and 22,000 damage to ships. in a 3.5 kilometer radius area, so 7 kilometer diameter. Cooldown 140 seconds, but this is really nice and helps you boost your damage without using guns. And if you're on one side of the map and you see a bunch of targets on the other side of the map, well, you don't have to go to the other side of the map. You just click this button and boom, all those ships over there take damage. So this is really nice because it doesn't mean you have to have line of sight. It's actually a really good thing. And that is why I really like using tactical, going for more tactical weapons, that tactical focus. You have health and shields. All of them have health and shields. It's a little bit different. Like this one has unlimited shield charges. I've never run through my shield charges, so having 6 is fine. Now for the torpedoes, we have 95-second reload, 15.5 kilometer, and it does nearly 20k of damage. Versus, so both of them have the same damage. One is 15.5 kilometers with 325 speed, not speed. The other is 7.5 kilometers with 280 knot speed. So the speed is a little bit different. The reload and the range is what's different. So one has 55-second reload. So if you want to hit them a lot and you're planning on being within 7.5 kilometers each time you're shooting it, this one's actually better. If you want to be able to hit them at any range, the longer range one is better, even though it's a 95-second versus a 55-second. So that one's dealer's choice. How close your average engagement is, will let you choose which one you want. The photon, again, it's homing. It doesn't do much damage, and they're homing, so might as well go with the beams. They're really fast. They are above water too, and so they're pretty neat. Okay, and then again, guns, phasers. We already talked about why I use phasers for the other one. The same thing for here. The tactical artillery. Yes, no, 22-second reload. No, I made the mistake of using it because they say, oh, if you use all tactical, your consumables will be the strong point. No, if you're running this, just no. You could barely do the this key because 22-second reload. So either you do DPM, where you have a 6-second reload, which is really nice. Sure, the damage is much lower, but you're getting hits. And that's the thing. You want to get hits with that. The other thing is the phasers. The phasers do a lot of damage to the shields. And so when you do the damage to shields, then you can do the orbital bombardment and do a lot of damage to the ships themselves. All phasers you don't aim. But artillery does have a strong point. You can shoot over islands. You can't shoot over islands with phasers. So as a cruiser, this actually has a good point. As a destroyer, you're wanting to get in close. As a battleship, you're also wanting to get in close. Where as a cruiser, being able to shoot over islands is a nice feature. Whereas with phasers, you cannot. You can't shoot over islands. They just hit the island. But for the most part, I prefer having the phasers. Okay, so that's that. Now on to the battleship. So the battleship has several different options. We have shield, which is support. Support has the lowest shield percentage, lowest regeneration. The preparation time is actually the quickest. So quick preparation time, but slow regen. You have fast regen, slow to start regenning, and then medium shields. Then you have your heavy shields. Yeah, this is just focusing on shields, but the others have bonuses. So the PSH, the pushing, comes with your ship has a speed boost and is stealthier. Your shield boost for support comes with consumable action time, and main gun battery reload time. So you do this because of the I'm not sure why you have consumable preparation reload time and then consumable preparation reload time. So your consumables actually are minus 30%. And then you have a minus 15% to your main gun battery. It's a reload time. So a 20-second reload becomes 17 seconds. So a nice 17 seconds reload for there. The artillery from 15 seconds goes. Anyways, so you have a nice reload time. Now in this one, I do phasers again because you don't have to aim. Doesn't matter where they are, you don't have to aim. The 17 kilometers is plenty, and it has decent damage to both shields and the ship. And with a 17-second reload, that's actually pretty nice. You can go with the normal artillery, where you could shoot over the mountain. Then it's the Gneisenau, where you have dispersion, and the damage is not that much, but it does reload, 1.53, like, 2 seconds, 13, little under 13 seconds. So versus 17 seconds, it does more damage. And you're actually doing damage to shields too. And then you have the other one, which has shit, like scary damage. Like, you are going to hit things, but you have Vermont reload. 30, like with the reload, that's still 38-second reload. Or 37-second reload. It's you better make your shots count. Well, the thing about phasers is they're going to hit, but I rather shoot more and have a much better DPM than just when I shoot, something dies. Okay, so then you have your torpedoes. So you have your homing torpedoes that do little damage. You have your 9-kilometer torpedoes that do 24k damage at 300 knots. Or you have your 15-kilometer torpedoes that have a faster reload time, do more damage, and only go a little bit slower. Yeah, we're going to go with the more damage for faster reload. More DPM all around. Yeah, some of these I think weren't. I think some of the numbers are wrong, or the things, but this is the mindset to go with. It might change. Okay, so then we have the whole, which has your consumables and your things. So we're going to go with the support first, because the support is long. And why the support has the minus 30% cooldown base. And then you have the super consumables, another minus 70% cooldown. That does not mean like they cool down instantaneously. It just means that their cooldown is much faster. So you have heavy explosive strike squads. This basically takes a strike squad from the Enterprise, so we'll go over that, and puts it just automatically goes after ships. The issue is that it does a lot of damage to the ship, very little damage to the shields. So you want to make sure that the ship has no shields when they go into attack. Invasive programs, damage to enemy ships. So every ship in a certain area gets, so in a 11-kilometer diameter circle, gets plus 35% damage. And so yes, they stack. Rapid threat response. I'm not sure why they use that symbol, because it's a speed boost. You get plus 75% to your speed. So I guess with your pushing shield, that's a nice thing, because then you are going fast. But yeah. It's just speed boost. And then fleet repair. So you and all your allies get HP per second. So that's a nice thing. And then your shields, you don't. It's unlimited charges. And then for your shield restoration. For what? What is that? 15,000. So about half of your shields. Then you have pushing. So pushing, you have small caliber guns, and this is what really made me think, oh, there are some mix up, because the skill is phase emitter time. The secondaries are small caliber guns. The phase emitters are only on hole number 2, so this should be on a hole that has phase emitters, or it should say not say phase emitters, but small caliber guns. But either way, this is supposed to reduce your reload time for your secondary guns. So the secondary guns itself for this one, for pushing, has a 2-second reload, so that's a lot of DPM. Support is very similar. It's a 3-second reload, so they're very similar. And then your combat extractions are for receiving potential damage. You get plus 1%, and then damage caused by your secondaries is plus 70% to both shields and ships, and they get a plus 100% firing range. So your secondary range that has a auxiliary guns. So your secondaries that have a range of 9 kilometers suddenly get a range of 18 kilometers. Yeah. So auxiliary guns, they shoot armor piercing. Basically, this version's of armor piercing. Whereas this one, yes, it's plus 3 seconds, but it's 7.5 kilometers. And then for sniper, your auxiliary guns have a range of 20 kilometers. Your phase emitters have 20-kilometer range. Means they're going to be shooting all the time, but they have a 5-second reload. So a little bit slower reload. But this one is, so it takes more potential damage to go up, but your damage caused by primary guns, caused by secondaries, caused by secondary weapons or torpedoes, damage caused by auxiliary systems are plus 40%. So where is this actually helpful? It's when you use this gun. Because if you want to shoot, you might as well use the F key when you shoot, and you'll get 2 shots, and both shots will do plus 40% damage. So instead of doing 11,000 damage per shot, you're now doing 15,000 damage to ships. Usually 2 guns will kill the cruiser, sometimes 3. If they have no shields, they die. If they have shields, they still might die. So that's where like this is. It's kind of a gimmick. So if you use this and you use that, you are killing stuff. Whereas if you're using a DPM base, yeah, you're doing stuff. So this is why I'm not really sure of which one to do. If the phase emitter actually was correct, I might do that one. But because this one already has long range guns, secondary guns, and it has this funny button of extra damage for everything. So plus 40% means 2 torpedoes kill a battleship. 2. That's I think you get, what are these secondary weapons? You have 4 per mount. So yeah, damage. Okay, so if I was going to build, this is probably the section I was going to do because of the the consumables, the gun reload, the and what it comes with. So now we'll go to Enterprise. I will say Enterprise is the most difficult to use. It's a carrier. Carriers are already a little bit difficult to use. This one is the most difficult to use. Straight up. But it's easiest to set up because you don't have any options. There are no options, period. So you already have the 7.3 kilometer range secondaries. Your detectability by range by sea is minus 60%. So your concealment, goes down to like 9 kilometers. Damaged out by rockets because we don't have rockets at the moment. But damage for everything. Because, and I'll tell you why in a moment, why there's no rockets are being used. And then auxiliary secondary fire range will actually go up from 7.3 to, a lot more. Your secondary battery is pretty good. So it actually makes your secondaries worthwhile. Now, you are now in a German ship because your secondaries do more damage, have better reload time, have better range. Caused by auxiliary systems. They switch between secondary battery and auxiliary system. There's no consistency. They are consistent with their lack of consistency. Okay. So now into the ship weapons. So first we're going to go with the so-called rocket planes that actually don't shoot rockets. So instead of rockets, they shoot guns. And so they actually act like old rocket planes. You point, you shoot. After a couple of seconds, they throw their burst, like the entire burst, and it hits the ship. So you don't really have to lead the ship. The energy burst is 10 per plane, and they have 6 in attacking flight. Right now they're bugged. So the aircraft preparation is supposed to be 80 seconds. Right now it's 0. You just fly. You just go up, fly, attack, and it's ready. There is no aircraft preparation. And they do damage. They will absolutely wreck a ship. So they're really good at doing damage to shields. So because they do 500 damage per shield, and then they have maximum damage increase, which is really nice, plus 50% maximum damage. So you could kill shields, or you can actually wreck both cruisers and battleships with these. They will actually hit citadels, because for some reason they don't have citadels. They're armor penetration of 100 millimeters. They're going to hit citadels. And it's funny when you see 20 or 30,000 from one strike. And then you can go and do it again. The bombs. Now, what the bombs are good for, the bombers are if you've already knocked down the shields, or someone's knocked down the shields of several things, or you can even do in a team, like you can ask someone in the Klingon Fiji to do a orbital strike against a bunch of targets, and then you can just bomb as you feel them. Because each plane has 3 bombs, so you're throwing 6 bombs per attack flight, and you have size attack flight is 2, and I believe there's 12. Yeah, there's 12 planes per flight. And so it's really nice because you have 12 planes, and they I've seen some cruisers just disappear from these when you get multiple bomb hits in the citadel of the cruisers. They are really good. However, the damage to shields is really low, only 1200 damage shields. So this is more damage than shields than the Gneisenal's secondary, but it is this one has an ability where you get plus 50% damage shields. So instead of 1200, it's 1800 damage shields. Still not low. Still, you don't want to be attacking shields. You want unshielded targets with this. So shielded targets are your Hellcats. Unshielded targets are your bombers, and your torpedo plane. Singular, one torpedo plane, because it does. You fly out every 80 seconds. So as you see with the star symbol, you have to wait for it to load. It's 80 seconds, but if there's an unshielded target, this is killing the unshielded target, period. If you notice, the damage caused by photon burst is at 155,000. So far, the highest HP I've seen is 101 or 102,000. An unshielded target, something that just lost its shields, is dead to one of these. So this is, oh, I want to go kill that battleship. That battleship needs to die. That's what this is. Whereas the bombs are just, eh. And then it has a repair. So, so you can heal up to make sure that your big bomb, it has a 3-kilometer burst radius. So if the 3 ships are all clumped up together, then you can actually do damage. But I've not seen ships clump up enough to actually, or I've not experienced enough to be able to do more damage to multiple ships. But yeah, it's your blow things up. And then, of course, you have unlimited charges of shield regeneration that regenerate most of your shields, and they're automatic on their 140-second cooldown. So that's the Enterprise. Now, for the rewards, kind of like the D-Day. If you haven't played D-Day, it's kind of like a battle pass. Whereas you play, you get stars for completing secondaries. As you complete secondaries, you move up in level. Now, currently on the PTS, it's one level is 1 star. It's probably going to be more like 3 or 4 stars, or as things go up to for each level. And so, if you notice, you have things are split up. And that's because there's likely to be multiple missions. Likely. I don't know if there actually are. That said, so far in the op, I've seen it. It's like Raptor Rescue, where it is you have different spawn points. You spawn in one of the corners, and the capture points are also randomized. The enemy spawns are not so randomized. It's mostly set semi-randomized, but it's all based on your spawn, which is the main thing. And you can spawn in several locations on the map, with the capture points also spawning in several locations on the map. And you might have noticed, like, there's some things that, like, oh, what is this? Oh, the collection. So you also have a collection. So as you can see over here, this is where you have your collection items on this. So as you get collection things, you get permanent bonuses, and these are things that can be used on ships. So we'll go back to the ships, go to equipment, and so these are the permanent bonuses. So as you see for here, I have 3 of them selected. We have damage, 2.5% damage, not much. Speed, plus 3%. And detectability, minus 5%. Because the other one is fire extinguisher, consumable preparation, and reload time is minus 6%. After that, you have more damage, more speed. So you can basically double up. So you can choose up to 4. If you don't want to, so you can choose 4 different ones, Or you can double up. You can double up on one and have two, or you can double up on two of them. So doubling up here gets you another minus 10% to detectability. Doubling up here gets you another 2.5, so you now have plus 5% damage. Over here is plus 6% speed. So in the end, for here, I'd probably go with doubling up on detectability and damage. For the destroyer, I would probably double up on. I'd probably double up on speed and damage. For the cruiser, because of the cruiser, I'm using consumables. I would double up on consumable, and yeah, I double up on consumable and damage. For the battleship, double up on damage, and then if you're running the consumable, I double up on the consumable reload just for more of that. Otherwise, probably do this. One each here and then 2 damage. And so that's what I would do with that. So, I hope you enjoyed this overview of the Star Trek and what's going on. As you see, you actually can click things instead of up here. You can click on the map. You don't actually have everything. To the turbo lift, and the turbo lift is the old bridge, the old bridge where you could see the Klingon thing. So this is back to where the bridge that was the actual thing, and then you have this is what the surface section. So you can collect the shuttles to go back up to the bridge. So you clicking on the screen is what gets you to the surface, and clicking the shuttle is what brings you back. So this is where you have your interactive thing. This was a port during the original thing, and the crate system was over there. So this was a port, but now it's not a port anymore. It is now just a thing to see while you are in the in here. I guess another reusing of old assets. So that, because I know some people were asking for that port to be permanent. So with that, if you like this overview, I know I've rambled on for long, and this is really long. So if you like this overview, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. Next week, I will showcase playing actually in the op. This is your chance. What ships do you want to see me play? Just, click a comment, and I will make sure those. I'll probably do 2 games because they are 10-minute games. They can be 10-minute games, so I'll probably do 2 ships. So let me know which 2 ships, or otherwise I will choose them. If multiple people have different ships that they want to see, we'll see what the majority votes for. That said, I do hope to see you as my videos come out, and I hope you have a good day. Like I hope you actually have your day is good and things go well, good vibes and all that. Have a good one.